Several planets in our solar system have rings, most notably Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, and so does Uranus. Many scientists believe that billions of years ago, the Earth had rings around it. They believe the rings appeared during the early formation of our moon. It is commonly accepted that a long time ago, a planet named Theia collided with Earth. The collision sent colossal amounts of debris into the Earth's orbit. The matter began to form a ring, and that ring eventually became our moon. It makes you wonder, what would life be like for the inhabitants of Earth if Earth had rings? That's exactly what we're going to talk about right now on Life's Biggest Questions. Hello and welcome back to LBQ. I'm Charlotte Dobre. Show this channel some love by smashing the like, subscribing, and let us know in the comments below a question you have always wanted to know the answer to. According to the Roche limit, if a moon, ring, or object orbits too close to a planet, the unequal gravitational pull can pull it apart. The more gravity a planet has, the bigger its Roche limit. The ring would have to orbit our Earth at around 10,000 kilometers above the surface of the Earth for it not to be pulled apart. The reason why we have a moon today is because the Earth's former rings were formed from material that was orbiting outside of the Roche limit. To help us show you what life on Earth would be like if our planet had rings, we've added some illustration by Ron Miller, a former art director at the National Air and Space Museum's planetarium. First of all, if the Earth had rings, not everyone on Earth would be able to see them. You would only be able to see the ring from a certain latitude on Earth, and from the direction you are facing. It is likely that the rings would orbit parallel to Earth's equator. In terms of what the rings would look like from our perspective on Earth, that would depend on how close you were to the equator. Like the moon, the rings would reflect light. If you were right at the equator, you would see a thin, bright line of light that spanned out from the horizon and stretched across the sky. The rings themselves are actually not that thick. They would only be a few meters thick. As you go further from the equator, the rings would spread across the sky. This is what they would look like from Washington, D.C. and from Guatemala. If the Earth had rings, our nights would be a lot brighter. Ever notice how much brighter the night is when there's a full moon? Right now, in our sky, we only have the moon that reflects light, but rings would create more objects for the sun to reflect off of. These rings would be visible 24 hours a day, so they would also brighten up the daytime as well. But as you got closer to the Arctic Circle, the rings would barely reach above the horizon. Our rings would be made of rocks, rather than ice, like Saturn's. Saturn is 1.4 billion kilometers from the sun. It's a lot colder over there, which allows for ice particles to form and remain. But because the Earth is relatively close to the sun, ice would not have formed to create rings. Our rings would be made of primarily rocks. But if our Earth had rings, there would definitely be some downsides. Firstly, the rings would also cast a shadow on Earth, blocking out certain areas from the sun, which could render parts of our Earth uninhabitable. At the very least, the rings would make our planet quite a bit colder than it is now. Well, I guess they would solve global warming. The rings could cool the surface and prevent plant life from growing. Either that or plant life would have to be adapted to an Earth with rings. Furthermore, the rings would be so bright and would block out so much of the sky in some areas that it would be difficult to see the stars. The rings would also destroy many of our satellites, because the best place to put satellites is right at the equator. It's also likely that the rocks from the rings could come down and hit the surface of Earth. If the Earth had rings, they would be lovely to see, but they would also change life on Earth dramatically. Frankly, it's probably best we don't have rings in our sky to gawk at. For now, I'm Charlotte Dobre, and you've been watching Life's Biggest Questions. If you love this video and would like to see more like it, check out our playlist Biggest Science Questions, clickable on the screen right now. As always, make sure notifications are turned on by clicking the bell, and we'll see you in the next video.